Hi, it's Terry. I'm going to show you how to make a cardstock frame and embellishing it with the gold foil frame from the Joy of Sharing card kit, and how to make a little gift tote using the envelope from that card kit. I'm going to also provide instructions that you can download. It's on the flyer as a PDF that you can download. The original frame was made with an 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock. If you're going to embellish it with a gold frame, you want to use an 8.5 by 10.5. But follow all of the instructions, and as I mentioned, you can download this and be able to print that and make many of these wonderful cardstock frames. So what we need to do is score a 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1.5, and 2 on all 4 sides. I'm right-handed. I like to hold my cardstock with my left hand and score with my right hand. It's hard to cross over on the simply scoring, so I score on this side. So for example, we're at 8.5, so every 1/2 inch I'm going to score at 8. I'm going to score at 7.5. I'm going to score at 7 and at 6.5. So basically you're going to do 4 score lines on each side. This is 10.5 for this frame, so I'm going to score at 10, 9.5, 9, and 8.5. I already did 2 of the sides for this. Per the instructions, you're going to cut out each corner, and they're shown in a red X, meaning we're going to eliminate those 4 corners right up to that point on the cardstock. So we're going to do this on all 4 corners, and I'm going to do it on 2. And the beauty of videotaping and just like cooking shows, I have part of it done for you already. But I want to make sure you can understand how the instructions are. So step 2 is cutting out those corners. Step 3 is making a cut on 2 opposite ends, and that's marked with the red line. And what that is that's 1/2 inch in from each of these tabs. So this would be 6. I'm just going to make an indentation, a mark with my stylus, and this one will be a 1/2 inch on that way. And what you're going to do is take paper snips and cut in the first 2 panels. When you get to that score line, you're going to do a diagonal cut to the end over here. You're going to repeat that on this side, and you're going to do the same thing on this side. To save some video time, I already have that part done. So I have all of this done. So the next thing that's important to do is that you crease all of these sides. I'm going to move the Simply Scoring out of the way. You can use a Simply Scoring tool or your paper trimmer with a scoring blade for this. And I did not grab a bone folder, but I've already done this. It's important that you take a bone folder and crease every one of these creases to be creased to go inward. And that's going to help create the frame. So once you have that done, that's step 4. Step 5 is adhering your photo to this side. Or what I've done is I've taken that cardstock, or the card base that's got this pretty mossy meadow design on it, and I have cut that to size. That's going to be adhered right to the inside here. And for adhesive, you can use your favorite adhesive. I just have some multi-purpose glue here, and I'm going to use that. You can use the Stamp and Seal or your favorite adhesive. That gets adhered here before you assemble the frame. Then you're going to go to step 6, which is turning it upside down and applying tear and tape on the end panels of all 4. And I've done that ahead of time to save some video time. But you can pause this at any time if you're trying to make a frame at the same time. So what I'm going to do once I have this all adhered, and important that they're all scored to help rotate in, I am going to take and remove the backing on one of the ends that I've identified as side A or B and C and D. So I'm going to start with side A. I'm going to hold this down, take your pick tool to help get that backing off, and remove that backing. Now I'm going to make a cylinder here, and I found it works easier if I fold the top 2 panels well, actually whatever, on this side, it works better that side. The top panel on top of the second panel, rotate it so I have 2 panels on top and go flat like that. And then what happens is I create that square form on that side. Rotate and do side B. What I'm going to do is fold panel 1 down on top of panel 2. So 1's the end, 2's the next one. I'm going to take that, and panel 2 and 3 are on top, fold that down, and that adheres to make my square cylinders for the frame. Next, what we need to do is apply adhesive in these diagonal corners. I usually use a mini glue dot, but I did not grab mini glue dots before I started the video, so I'm just going to put a dab of multi-purpose liquid glue. And why I'm doing that is that little mitered corner, or angled corner, is going to be your mitered corner, and you want it to adhere to this little panel. So when I go to side C or D, you can start either one. This is where I want panel 1 and 2 on top, 3 and 4 on the bottom, and then I'm going to rotate this down, keeping the edge of the cardstock to that last score line, and create a square cylinder that brings my pieces together. And you want to just give that multi-purpose glue a moment or two to dry and adhere, and a mini glue dot adheres immediately. You're going to rotate this side, put panel 1 and 2 on the top, remove that tear and tape backing, rotate this, keeping the edge of the cardstock to that last score line, rotating this in, brings this together, and give this a moment to adhere the liquid glue together to keep your mitered corners to adhere down, and you have a cardstock frame. With the frame pieces, I have modified this card base to allow it, or the card frame, to allow this to adhere right to the top. I did not put a photo here. I'm going to decorate it much like I did this one with some of the embellishments. So when I put this frame on, I actually used the multi-purpose glue to do this. And with this glue, you don't need a lot. You just need a little bit, and I just put a fine line right across here. Anytime you're working with a foil, whether it's our foil sheets or these foil pieces, you need to be a little bit careful, because it does want to scratch up and stuff, because it's such a fragile specialty paper. So then I can place this down. With the beauty of the multi-purpose glue, you get a little bit of time to move it around, get it in place before you want to press down and give it some time to be a permanent adhesive. So as I mentioned, I'm going to decorate the inside, but there's 2 things you can do, multiple things you can do. You can put this on an easel. Beth has a video where she's showing that she put ribbon on hers for hanging and hid that ribbon with another piece of cardstock. The instructions that you can download will have an option to create an easel. It is a 2-inch by 11-inch piece of cardstock, scored at 4 1/4, 8.5, 9.5, and 10.5. Tear and tape on this end. A mountain fold, valley fold, mountain fold would make your easel, and several dimensionals already adhered to it. As I mentioned, I'm trying to save some video time, but you can pause at any time if you're trying to make this at the same time and you're thinking, boy, Terry's talking fast. I am trying to provide a timely video here. So the take your pick works great for taking the backings off the dimensionals. On the instructions, I have it shown for some dimensionals for placement. So you want to take those off. Then what I do is I have my easel set on the table. I take and let it sit, rest. I take my frame, line it up in the center, let it rest on the table, and bring it right to the easel. The easel will hold down flat, and it will stand for putting your artwork on a mantle, on a desk, and it's a great way to embellish your frames or your photos, or just create a decorative frame. So the next project I want to show you is using the envelopes that come in the card kit to create a tote. I did do a little bit of prep work ahead of time, and I really should have grabbed a bone folder, but I'm going to try to do this with my hands. And what I did ahead of time was I cut one edge off, and then I scored from each end in 3/4 of an inch. And what you want to do once you score that is take a bone folder and crease it back and forth on both sides. And our videos are unedited, so that's why I'm not going to be able to run to my craft room. I'm doing this little video in the makeshift studio, and it's all working out fine. And I think you all understand. Crease both ends back and forth. Well, when you put your hand in that open end, you can create some your points down here, create your folds to create a mountain, valley, mountain, mountain, valley, mountain. That will help with your little tote here. Crease these corners, put some strong adhesive on the tab, and bring those down. I use Terri tape. And then you can decorate this, and you could have stamped this ahead of time. You could have put some beautiful stamped images on here. What I did, I'm going to show you how I took the tag from the kit and made a topper. So I scored this right in half. I applied some Terri tape on the back, and I'm going to use the Take Your Pick tool, which works great to take the backing off the Terri tape. If you have trouble with it, put some pressure. Pressure and friction helps get that backing off. Now, I did not put it right to the very fold, and the reason I don't do that is that allows me to fold my, oops, let's see if I can do this all right for the camera. Fold this, the top like that, put this crease right in the center, line it up, and then push it down so it adheres to the back. A great way to decorate and close this. You can punch holes in, that's what I did with this one, but that means that I got to retie the bow every time. Another option is to take a paper clip, take a 1.5 inch circle, and place that in your paper clip. Put some Terri tape on here, tie a ribbon to the top, take the backing of your Terri tape off, and let's see how easy I can do that. So let's put some friction down and pressure, and that tends to help remove that backing. And you want some strong adhesive here. If you don't have Terri tape, use some dimensionals. You're going to want to put, dimensionals are a great strong adhesive too. Now this is set to put the embellishments on. So I just wanted to make sure that that circle was small enough to be hidden back there. Keeping that end of the paper clip open, I can use that paper clip to close my project and have my decorative with a bow, and then I can remove it and then reseal it without having to retie the bow. So I hope you enjoyed this video for instructions for these two projects, and I would love to have you contact your demonstrator if you have any questions on getting the instructions, because they can help you get those. Enjoy the rest of our product extravaganza.